Hey, what's going on out there, YouTube family? This is Samuel Legger here representing Team JVS back again for another Small Axe film. This is another Steve McQueen film, Lovers Rock. Now, the specifics behind this is Lovers Rock tells a fictional story of young love at the blues party in 1980. The film was an ode to the romantic reggae genre called Lovers Rock and to the black youth that found freedom and love in his sound in London house parties when they're unwelcome in white nightclubs. So, this is the thing about this film. This film doesn't, this is not based on any kind of factual events, but it does seem reminiscent of a recalled event, possibly that Steve McQueen or somebody he knows went through, or somebody that's close to him, because one of the biggest backdrops is the main character, played by Amara. Her name is Martha. Martha is gone to this party with her best friend, I assume best friend, Patty. Now, with Amara, if you pay close attention to the very opening of this, and I actually had to go back over it again, the very first thing you see her do is she's kind of climbing out somewhere. You don't know where she's kind of going. It's nighttime. This all takes place within one night, and then in the morning, where things go. Now, throughout most of this, there's a underlying factor here. It's two, technically. But Martha is immersed and connected to spirituality, or has very strong impressions being put on her when it comes to her relationship with God, from a religious standpoint, as well as the imagery. There is a person that's continuously walking down the street with the cross, like bearing their own cross, like an actual physical cross. She's wearing a cross, or a cousin she encounters later on at the party is wearing a cross on him. There's a connection there. And then when the very last shot of the scene, that also gets brought back up as well. Now, the thing about this, though, the thing that I did love about the film was the most minimalistic amount of it, is the very raw, specific details underlying who she actually really is, where she comes from, who she's connected to. The moment that her cousin makes an appearance, and there's an altercation that kind of happens right at the door, and she kind of gets herself involved in it, there's a backdrop of information that gets thrown at you. If you're not paying close attention, you're going to really miss a very good character moment and a very good connection to who Martha is, why she is the way she is, why she's so defensive, why she's so abrasive. And I think that they definitely telegraphed that scene very well, and it makes more of the character and the progression of this. Now, the other side of this is that they don't really go into specifics of it, but you feel the anxiety throughout. From the very moment that Martha and Patty go and they get on the bus, they try to get to this party, you kind of see there's some Caucasian guys, they're outside kind of just watching and seeing what they're trying to do. It looks like there's trying to be an altercation. That definitely doesn't look like whatever they're trying to do with this party is even welcome within the confines of the neighborhood. But there's a couple different moments where Martha goes outside, and honestly, from an anxiety standpoint, this is all Steve McQueen. This is all his doing. I was like, Martha, get your tail back inside. What are you doing? Like, I really didn't know where things were going to go. Because normally with stuff like this, like it's a movie, it's fictional, it's dramatified. Like, I was like, she's going to get hurt, like something's going to happen. And you're constantly processing the different ramifications of things that are happening. Even though, at the foundation of what's happening in the film, which is this whole party, these group of young people really just wanted a place, a safe haven to just chill, relax, and vibe. That's really ultimately they wanted to do. The negative for me in this, and I don't know, it's a negative and a positive, is really just a 1980 reggae just party. Literally, like it's an adult version of house party, like for real, because there's serious things that are happening throughout the party. There are implications and nudges to things that people believe and what they're connected to, who they like. They're sprinkled throughout, but really, it's just them on this dance floor and just partying and just hanging out and smoking and getting physical with each other. Like, literally, that's the entirety of this film. And this is complete different like push and nudge than the very first film, Mangrove. And personally, it kind of put me off because at first I was kind of, okay, we're getting to somewhere. We're going somewhere with this. But it never, for me, really goes anywhere. I can appreciate the natural fluidity of the way that this was shot. Like, it really felt like somebody just was like, well, we're gonna go and shoot like some people just going and partying. We're gonna get as much, like, if somebody took it and said, we're doing a documentary in the 1980s of a party that's going on, and I'm gonna film everything as though I'm not really there. That would be this. So from an excellent standpoint, when it comes to the cinematography and the way this was actually shot and captured, this looks like a natural party. Like, it just does. But it's nothing more than that. Now, Martha does have a interesting altercation and connection with this person named Franklin, played by Michael Ward. I think he does a really good job. Nothing too over the top. I think very naturally protective, like, but mysterious. You don't know a lot about him. I think that it adds to the anxiety throughout the film when you don't know what people's actual intents are, because she does interact with other people and they have malicious intent. Even though everybody's really there just to try to vibe and hang out, there are still those human desires that can be wicked and can be messed up and can really change the course of situations. Thus, like with her cousin, when her cousin does make a scene, even though it's one of the more flushed out story parts of this film, the atmosphere changed just because he's there. And it wasn't for the betterment. As a matter of fact, I was like really worried by the end of the film. So for me, this was not, I didn't really, I appreciated it. I connected with it. I got it, but it wasn't my cup of tea because I really, it literally for hours. It was halfway through the film and I was like, we're still at this party and I just want to go. I feel like I'm at the party and I'm the dude that just really wants to go. Like, I get trying to vibe and hanging with your significant other or whatever, but this wasn't it for me, unfortunately. But I don't feel like I can effectively give a grade for this just because I don't want to project my personal perspective on whether or not I was into this party or not. Because it was filmed well. It was executed well. It did feel real. It felt natural. It just went on way too long for my taste, personally. So I'm not going to rate this episode, this film. And again, it wasn't anything spectacular to me. It didn't have any standout performances, but it was very informative and interesting and engaging in the sense of a black woman in London who just wanted to vibe with her friend, and through circumstances at this party she finds love, but she also finds tragedy, she also finds hurt and pain and disconnect from her reality. And I think from that standpoint it was executed pretty well. But hopefully you guys enjoyed that review. I'll talk to you guys later on. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. Peace, guys.